Good evening, boys and girls. Today, lesson 4 is going to be about dividing fraction by a fraction with unlike denominators. So today we're going to talk about how we can find common denominators and use that to model our fraction divided by fraction problem. So for the opening exercise, it's kind of connected to finding common denominators. You need to write at least 3 equivalent fractions for each fraction below. Now, you might come up with more than one, but I want to remind you how to do that. You can either multiply or divide both your numerator or denominator by the same number. So let's do 2/3, multiply both the numbers by 2. I could do 4, 6. Let's say I decide to multiply both those by 2 again. That's also equal to 8, 12. I could multiply both by 2 again and get 16, 24. Okay, 10, 12, we could let's multiply both of them by 2 again. 10 times 2 is 20. 12 times 2 is 24. Or we could simplify it by dividing both of them by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. And 24 divided by 4 is 6. We could also say this is equal to 25 over 30. So again, answers will vary. So let's begin by looking at example 1. Molly has 1 3/8 cups of strawberries. She needs 3/8 cups of strawberries to make one batch of muffins. How many batches can Molly make? Use a model to support your answer. So hopefully you can recognize that this is a division type of word problem. We have to figure out how many 3/8 goes into 1 3/8. So your division problem would be 1 3/8 divided by 3/8. So I started by drawing 2 tape diagrams. The reason why I drew 2 holes in order to make 1 3/8. So if I shade in 1 complete hole, that represents my 1 in the 1 3/8. I still need to shade in 3 more 8 for the fraction 3/8. Now you can see that 1 3/8 is equal to 11/8. So we're doing 11/8 divided by 3/8. We have to figure out how many 3/8 goes into 11/8. So here's 1 group of 3/8, 2 group of 3/8, 3 groups of 3/8. So far, I have 3 as my whole number. Now, this is the tricky part because I have 2 left shaded, but I needed 3. So what would be your fraction? 2 out of 3. So this represents 2/3 because you need 3 to make a group. So your answer is 3 and 2/3. Remember the other way we could do it? Yes, today we talked about how we could do common denominator, which we see here. We could rewrite this as 11/3, which is the same thing as 3 and 2/3. Now let's take a look at the next example. Molly's friend Javier also has 11/8 cups of strawberries. He needs 3/4 cups of strawberries to make a batch of tarts. How many batches can he make? Draw a model to support your solution. So notice on my paper I wrote find common denominators. That's the biggest difference here. We don't have common denominators. So we're going to do 11/8 divided by 3/4. To do that, let's get common denominators. Is there a way I could make 3/4 into 8? We want to get 8 as my denominator. So what could you multiply 4 by to get 8? By 2. So if you multiply 4 by 2, you have to multiply 3 by 2, and we get 6. So instead of saying 3/4 cups of strawberries to make a batch of tarts, we're going to say 6/8 cups. Now we can do 11/8 divided by 6/8. We have to figure out how many 6/8 goes into 11/8. So let's shade in 11/8. There's my 11/8. Let's count how many groups of 6/8 can I get into 11/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to circle. There's 1. Uh-oh. I don't have quite 6 of them here, but I have 5 of them. Therefore, I would name this 5 out of 6. So your solution would be 1 and 5, 6. We could use the other model. We have common denominators now. So we simply just divide my numerator and write them as fractions. 11 over 6, which is equal to 1 and 5, 6. And you can see my model supports my solution. I'm actually going to skip example 3 because they already have common denominators. I think you could do that on your own. Let's go over one more example that does not have common denominator. Example 4. Find the quotient 3/4 divided by 2/3. Use a model to show your answer. So we have to determine how many 2/3 are in 3/4. Step 1. Find a common denominator. Can you think of a number that both 4 and 3 go into? 12. You can get 4 and 3 into 12 evenly. So that's the first thing you want to do. Rewrite them now so that they have common denominator. So 3/4 is how many? 12. And also convert 2/3 into 12. So this is kind of going back to 5th grade when you learned how to add and subtract fractions. You have to find common denominators. Well, that's what we're doing here for dividing. What do you multiply 4 by to get 12? 3. So we're going to do 3 times 3, which is 9. What do you multiply 3 by down here to get 12? 4. So we're going to do 2 times 4. And what's 2 times 4? 8. Step 2, rewrite the equivalent fraction. So now we're going to replace 3/4 with 9/12 and do 9/12 divided by 8/12. We can draw a model for this by cutting a tape diagram into 12. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Here's my 12. I want to do 9/12 divided by 8/12. So I should shade in 9 of those 12. Now we got to figure out how many groups of 8/12 can I get into 9/12. So I'm going to circle my 8 or put a bracket for my 8/12, which is right here. So I can fit one group of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 8. 12. Sorry about that. That's 8/12. So we have one group of 8/12. I'm going to circle that so you can see that. There's 1. Now what fraction does that leave me? We need 8 of them. You have 1 left, so this will be 1/8. So your solution would be 1 and 1/8. Now, what I'd like you to do is go ahead and try exercises 1 through 5. Remember, boys and girls, find common denominators and rewrite your fraction. Thank you.